Do this side or that side?
So we'll just start on social media here. How many of you have your own personal Twitter accounts? At the same time, how many of you also run a Twitter account for your video office? It's a good chunk. How many of you find it difficult to differentiate sometimes when you are tweeting for yourself and tweeting for your video office? Okay, please. Okay, one of the most difficult things I've found is when I am trying to come up with a tweet and I am trying to formulate it so it is always we as opposed to me or I am getting on an airplane. No, we are getting on an airplane because you're talking about your office. I think that's one of the most difficult things I have a part of. And the second thing I have a part of is when I'm taking a picture of the meeting room, you're going to see a blank background. You might see a standard Thunder football screen because I'm not going to put anything up there that not that anybody's going to get anything tipped off from a still shot of a field goal from a special teams meeting of one field goal from our opponent, but you don't know who's looking at your tweets as far as your as far as what other coaching staffs. I had Tim Beckman, Illinois head football coach, followed me like that. As soon as he joined Twitter, followed me in me being the football video account. So it's definitely a weird deal when you're managing some of those things. Now I also, just to give you guys reference, those of you guys who are on Twitter, follow at CSVA. Yeah. I also run at CSVA. So when I'm retweeting stuff, if I don't retweet you, it's not because I don't like you. It's just we're trying to put out as much good stuff out there as we can. So I don't want to oversaturate, I don't want to undersaturate. We're just trying to put out the right amount of stuff. And I know I'll oversaturate during this conference. We do that for the folks that can't be here. I'll also, with Jevin's help, run Instagram. So if you guys have any pictures, we're trying to put out a professional face on stuff like that. That's just kind of getting started. Oh, I also run the Google Hangouts. So those of you guys that have tuned into the Google Hangouts throughout the year, you've seen me on every single one of them. If you have suggestions on those, I'd love to take them. I don't mind sitting in on a lot of them, but if you guys have ideas, I love doing them. And it's just a matter of time. I'd like to get more West Coast guys in because we haven't had much West Coast involvement. So the more we can do, the better. By the way, I'm Matt Schilling. I'm the video coordinator for the university. So sorry about that. I just kind of jumped right in and started going.
My name is Joe Maggio. I'm the video coordinator at FIU. I have the privilege of running 5 different FIU accounts for social media. I only have one personal Facebook. I run my head coach's Twitter and Instagram. I run our general football Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So everything social media wise for FIU comes out of my office. And when I say my office, I mean me. So we,
My name is Adam Niemeyer. I'm in Cincinnati. I don't do much of it. My assistant Carl does because our coaches like to hound me for stuff, as you guys know. So he's been really good with it. He's on top of stuff, but he runs everything kind of past me before he puts it up because his spelling is not the greatest. He knows that. So, but we have a Twitter account. We don't have, I don't think we have an official Facebook account. If we do, we don't really. Our SID continually gets ticked at us because of the stuff we put up, which is fun. So I'm willing to hear from you guys. If you guys pick up your SID for media departments too. What else do we have? Oh, we just started a Snapchat account because all the kids are doing it, and nobody has sent us any illicit Snapchat photos, which is kind of disappointing because I thought that's what they invented Snapchat for. So it's just been a big bummer on our part. But basically, if it's kind of social stuff, Carl started recruiting. He wasn't here last year because he had no clue what this was last year, and he kind of walked in last year and still ran all the social stuff, but he came from a recruiting background and does a lot of Photoshop graphic stuff, which I know a lot of people out here do too. YouTube. We do everything through YouTube. I haven't gotten into video yet, but I know a lot of people out here do. Gaming guys all over it. So, other than that, I can't think of anything that we do special. But if it's 99% of the stuff that comes out of our football specific Twitter stuff is through either Carl or myself.
I'm Justin Martin from Michigan State. I'm the assistant there. I handle my Twitter, our head coach's Twitter from time to time, as well as the sport media Twitter and Instagram. The one thing that I've tried to do to keep those from getting intermixed too much is pushing him with Twitter. I have a separate browser logged in for him, and that's the only place I use it, so that it's never, I know exactly when I'm tweeting for him and what I'm looking at. So I don't want him, obviously you don't want to mix that at all. So I have 3 browsers on my laptop, 2 of them I only use for Twitter for separate accounts. I think that's worked for me as a good way to not get myself in trouble with what I'm tweeting or who I'm tweeting from or whatever. We also do Vimeos, YouTube, and Snappy TV, tweaks and mandates that we use Snappy TV for just about anything, which you don't have to, be thankful as it sucks. I don't know if there's anything wrong with that.
And I think that's the primary. You can still post it through YouTube.
Yes, but anything that you tweet out is supposed to be through Snappy TV. And Tony, I don't know, is it going to get better? Because it's terrible.
We will be having those discussions on June 13th.
All right, I'm going to talk about some of the tools I use. I know one thing I use in my office to try to help keep me, I forgot it. I use TweetDeck in the office to try to help keep the Twitter accounts separate. If CSVA is mentioned, if Go Football Video is mentioned, if my personal account's mentioned, it'll all pop up in the same window. I track believe it or not, I follow different people through the different accounts. So my personal account is my personal interest. I'm going to post a lot about racing, different kinds of racing.
Yeah. Not my kind of racing, though.
No. I will post about Chicago sports because I'm from Chicago. Because everybody that's from Chicago is not from Chicago. The football video account is difficult. I have a difficult time a little bit with that because I have the portion of me where we have fans that follow us. I know I was at Nebraska, and so I follow Tate and what he does at Nebraska a lot. And they have a ton of fans that follow them. But I also try to keep in mind that I also have my peers that follow me also. And so I have a hard time sometimes trying to, I want to engage the fans enough, but while at the same time trying to keep a certain amount of professionalism with my peers as to not, because ultimately on Saturday, I'm going to come into a booth and stand next to one of you. And, I've got to look at Jevin every 4 years. I got to look at him twice a year and go through that. I got to see Darby every year in the booth, either my place or her place, and kind of go through that type of deal. So I'm trying to balance what I'm saying, the message that the athletic department will want to get out to the message that I don't necessarily want to offend my peers. And I don't know if anybody else has that issue with that balancing.
I think that's fair. We put up a bunch of stuff from our bowl game this year. We're uploading videos and we don't really know. One of our issues that we have with in terms of running a football Twitter account and a video account and personal stuff is what comes from which account. So we have an overall athletics Twitter account, and that's got a lot more followers than anything else because our athletic department started it years ago, and that's the only thing they use. And now we've got teams, women's basketball, things like that we're not in charge of, but that UC wants to have women's basketball, and people are either more or less active with it, and so we kind of struggle with that sometimes. If we make a video and it's a highlight tape, does the video account tweet it out, or should we put it out from the football account, or should we put it out from the recruiting account because we have a separate recruiting account? So in terms of what comes from where, I know everybody's going to be different in here, like what your hierarchies are, and I don't know who sets those. We're kind of running on our own gas until our SID comes down and slaps our wrists, told us to stop doing things. But we tend to check and try to check things through that department so we don't either outscoop somebody or tick somebody off, because we've got people, and I don't know, I'm sure everybody else does too, in some way, shape, or form that work in your department that will put stuff up before something is official or something, that we've got a guy that used to do it, and we had to tell him to stop tweeting out degree updates at halftime. So that was fun. We had to bring that to the attention of our trainer, and he was unhappy. So those are just some of the things that we have issues with in terms of tweeting out things from the right channel.
So since I don't have my own personal Twitter, it's pretty easy for me to not mix my head coaches up with a football page. Every week I sit down with our head coach. Well, I shouldn't say every week. At the beginning of the season, I sit down with them and say, what are your goals and expectations for Twitter and Facebook and Instagram? For this season, we ran 4 graphics a week. It was an offensive stat, defensive stat, team stat, and a captain's push on Friday. So those are pretty easy. I use Photoshop and Photoshop for those to just kind of interchange pictures every week. So those are pretty standard. For me, everything has to get cleared through the head coach. I kind of just got the okay to tweet things on my own. And when I say on my own, what he would say. But at the end of the day, there's 2 bosses that it has to get okay through. It's the head coach and the head coaching boss. So if the 2 of them are good with any posts that I do, we post it. So the main reason why we created his page was so that the other coaches can feed from it. Right? So it's one central location for the coaches to do their things. That became a great tool for the coaches. It became a lot more work for me. But at the end of the day, it's for the betterment of the program, and I'm okay with that. But Twitter and Instagram definitely is a huge role out of my office, and I get reminded of it all the time when the head guy watches something on CNN or ESPN that maybe I haven't watched, and that's why I didn't tweet that out. I say I don't read your mind. So that's kind of what our main goal is for our social media stuff. It's a way for the coaches to get all central, everything that we do, they can have access to.
We haven't done anything with Snapchat yet. Like they're talking about, I don't know if anyone else has. Kind of interested to hear what you guys are doing. When we talked about, our recruiting guys that use Meerkat, which is the video streaming during spring ball. They would go out and approach him with his phone for an hour and follow him and go around and he would log on while that app is up live on his phone and watch exactly what's going on. So our recruiting guys walk around with that.
We're periscoping right now.
All right.
We're periscoping right now.
So that's something that's getting popular. I don't know if anyone else has used that to their benefit. I think it's been good for our recruiting department. I'm glad that we are not involved in that. I want to keep it that way. But what have you guys done to, I think Jevin's got something. What are you guys doing that maybe the rest of us can try to implement in our departments?
If you might just use the rest of the full composition, that's what we can. We have social media, basically she charges all social media for football. That is her one and only job, all the way for everywhere. She monitors all the players' accounts, all the players follow her. It's a full-time job. So I understand how fits on you guys, because we are to monitor that. So say you get a head coach, you monitor the next head coach's career also?
Well, I mean, I think if you look in some cases, and I won't mention specific places, but I think you've seen where video guys have crafted the message or have helped craft the message with the social media, and they decided that for one reason or another that they're going to bring in somebody else to do that job. So yeah, I think there are people being hired specifically in Minnesota. Yeah, there is. We've got one person that runs all the social media as far as overall for Gopher Sports. It's up to each individual sport then if they want to then take care of their own sport. So Gopher football has one. Gopher men's basketball. Gopher women's basketball. To what length they go after that is kind of up to each sport, at least where we're at.
Our SID handles our football account and is assistant. But beyond that, we have a Spartan football staff account, we have a video account, all of the coaches have accounts, recruiting department, all of their accounts. Those are pretty much on us to handle. We try to do the best to work with the SID department to take graphics and videos and whatnot and disperse them amongst all of our accounts. We're not doing double work. I know that's something we bring into a lot is we're making a graphic for the spring game and they're making one, and then it's diverse message, whereas we should just be putting all those on all our accounts. If anyone's had a good method to make sure that kind of stuff's not happening, I mean, ultimately it's just communication right now. But if anyone else has ideas, but Jevin, if they would hire someone to do that full time in our office, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, from our standpoint, it would be great if we could hire someone full time. The reason why we switched over was after the 2013 season. We brought everything in house because we felt marketing and RSI weren't doing enough. It became really evident that schools were beating us at the social media. So we decided to bring it all in house. I wish you could hire someone full time to take it off of my plate before, but just.
You guys monitor the comments also? So someone writes,
yeah, so our GA set up a dummy account. Basically, we follow every kid, every player that's on the team, and every recruit that we are actively recruiting, just to see what goes about. If any of our kids do, we've had issues in the past where a couple of kids have said some things they probably shouldn't, and we address it immediately. But fan comments. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if we have a lot of things. Not as many as been said.
If you guys are doing other accounts, you need to get kids to do it.
No, so, at all.
We have a recruiting department that there are people in there that they have all of our coaches' Twitter's accounts and they do direct message at times. But I don't touch that. I haven't asked to
Yeah. And our head coach gets about at least 12 a day from the number one athlete in such a state. Been on the road, I guess. Yeah.
Eric, where is the compliance officer the government violation
Yeah, we always meet with our compliance directors at the beginning of each season and then the beginning of every off-season, where we can do more for recruiting. If we ever have a question of anything, he's always the first to get the graphic before we ever do anything and send anything out. So compliance does for sure play a big role.
I think that's one of, yeah, we run everything for our compliance people too. Really be bad if I said we're breaking rules. We're not. But that's one of the things that Joe and I were talking before we got in here. The way I see it is there's some things that are really timely. Okay, we've got to get this out, at this date, at this time, because if we don't, then it's useless. It's old, it's outdated, it doesn't matter. But if we were to run things through our SID and things like that, sometimes you're just slow to check things. So in the past year or so, we've gotten to the point where we've got a guy who does website videos for us, kind of for a recruiting angle. And I will say, after I watch the video and look at it, I'll say, okay, if we don't hear from anybody, we're going to put this up at 5 p.m. And then it's at least in writing in our SID. If he looks at it and says, no, it needs to get changed, then we'll fix it. But if not, we're putting it up at 5 p.m. And that's kind of on our SID. So we kind of kick him in the rear to get his butt moving sometimes because he's kind of slow with that.
I know one thing for sure, compliance-wise, if you guys are often retweeting things, this is, I believe it's an NCAA deal, is you cannot retweet from a scouting site. Rivals, 24/7, sites like that, you cannot retweet those sites because of the pay aspect. I don't remember what the full terminology is on it.
Person for rules.
But I do know that that's a violation. That is a big no-no. You cannot retweet sites like that. So when you're, go ahead.
And obviously not any recruits, and then, can't comment about anything, it's just all the same normal Instagram stuff.
Right, and we usually, I'm sure everybody else is the same way. If we think about it, we're like, we probably don't. I forget what we did. We did something one time. I know we were like, oh shit. It was a long time ago.
I know that we have a different arm that does a lot of our post-production videos. We have a weekly video series, and all that ends up going through the recruiting office and gets filtered out. Because my recruiting coordinator better know the rules inside and out as far as what can be posted video-wise and what cannot be posted video-wise, because that's all part of, to me, that's all part of recruiting. And I think if you're not running things through your recruiting department, as far as those videos, graphics, if you're not running that through the recruiting department, I think that you need to have a conversation with them anyway. That's my thought anyway, because they're the ones taking the test. I don't know how many of you guys take the NCAA test every year? I don't. So there's 3 in here that take the test, maybe 4. Not very many. And I know that I don't know the rules. It's 529 pages of inside and out. I don't know. I'll still tell you that I don't know all the answers.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever taken the practice test? Just out of curiosity.
One thing I've bumped into with social media that our phones have made it so easy for us is, remember when you, especially before retweeting somebody else's, you listen to the audio. Because it might be a really great clip that someone took from practice or from a game, but if in the background somebody says something that is not quite appropriate, you may not want to retweet it from an official departmental account.
We had something similar to that. We were at a training camp, and we go off campus for training camp. And we have a production wing, kind of, and they put up a video. And I think it's one of the issues that we've got internally is we don't know who checks their videos. We think they just put them up. So they did like a sights and sounds from practice, and our field goal cadence was like clear as freaking day on it. And I was like, hello, like I'm just thinking of it from the coach's point, because if our coaches see that, they're going to freak out. So I think I called the guy right away and I was like, you need to fix that, because, and it's not because I'm a mean guy or I don't want him to get yelled at. I don't want to get yelled at. So it was one of those things where it's like, who's looking at their stuff as opposed to our guy that does more of the recruiting video. We look at his stuff, our SID looks at his stuff, and he seems to nitpick his stuff more than our production company. Anybody like just like us, but that they seem to just throw stuff up, and they'll put they do interviews for spring ball where you have recruits walking in the background. Our guy that does the recruiting videos, when he interviews a player, if you see somebody in the background that looks like a recruit, our people will say, no, that's got a recruiting background. But our production people that are doing interviews, people milling around in the background and they don't check theirs. So that kind of pulled us started to read more over who's checking what stuff, which it was really interesting, kind of eye-opening for me to see. You know, I was like, that's our field goal cadences in there. And I was like, I don't think we want that out there. And I think his response was something like, oh, okay, I'll get on it. I was like, no, you should probably like really get on it right now and not wait. So that's, because I kind of see it from more from like if our coaches see that, just having worked for a particular head coach, and I won't name names, but who was really nitpicking that stuff, I can see how people freak out about that.
You guys have certain goal followers and retweets, so you have 10% of it.
I don't. I put stuff out there because it's stuff that I find, I don't know. Hey, here's our meeting room. Hey, here's an empty stadium. Hope you guys enjoy this empty stadium. From the football video account. I put up, yeah, I'll put up pictures of meeting rooms. Why? Because there's people that honestly find empty meeting rooms exciting for whatever reason. I set up a projector and a computer, and there's an Exos digital logo up on the screen. Oh my gosh. Or if there's a BB Sport logo, oh my gosh.
Those crazy fans that are out there that, yes. I was working on our season highlight tape, and I had that issue. Some guy was like, make sure you put this play in there. I was like, oh, it's like the biggest play of the year. Of course, it's going to be the season highlight tape.
But the empty stadiums, I'll do other stuff where it's like, if it's in game, I was visiting Tate this year, and we had 2 splotches of gold in the sea of red, which I thought was kind of cool. So I isolated those 2 pictures and used one of those image stitching apps. And hey, look, you know, our fans traveled well this game. And put that out there, you know. So like the local newspaper might pick, you know, might retweet it. Oh, okay, cool. But I'm not aiming for retweets. I'm not. Hey, for me, if somebody likes it, great. If somebody retweets it, great. But this is basically I'm putting out there what I'm seeing it from the video perspective. Here's our perspective from the ends, and here's our perspective from the sideline.
I think some of it is like, what's your goal?
So I think it's from a video guy standpoint, something we did, we just had our end of the year evaluation, and our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook feeds went up by 70% off the videos that we put snapping and everything, and it helped way get ratings. Because when you say these videos you put out there are getting us more followers, fans are loving it. You put that on your resume and say your fiscal year evaluation, perfectly with the staff and the city.
That was how Carl got hired last year, actually. That was one of the reasons.
I guess round back up.
We have goals.
Do you have goals as far as?
I told you he does 95% of it.
When you put a video out, you have goals as far as, hey, it'd be great if we had 5,000 views on this and 1,000 ratings.
I think at our level, I think we're kind of at the same level. Maybe. Yeah, not really. Okay. I'm sorry. But we're not at the same level as Minnesota or Penn State or Michigan State. So we have 7,000 followers. 8,600. There you go. That's what I brought there. So, but when we started it, and the funny thing was, I was the person who came up with the idea to start a football specific account because a lot like you guys had the issue with your marketing department or whatever running your athletics account, and they were just not getting it done. So we went in Butch Jones's last year, we went to the guy who was running his stuff, and we said, hey Spike, why don't we create a football specific account? And we didn't do anything with it, really. So it was just kind of there, and occasionally I'd put a picture up or something. And then Coach Jens left, and we hired Tommy Tuberville, and that's when Carl got hired to do recruiting graphics and stuff like that, just for our recruiting guy who was there. And he kind of said, hey, you do the football Twitter stuff. I said, yeah, when I have time. And he kind of took it over. We did a countdown during the summer, like 100 days to kick off. And we kept doing pictures, and I think what did it jump 300%. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if we're looking for a certain amount or a certain number, but I think I have a degree in journalism, which is utterly useless. I don't know if anybody else out here does too. But one of the things that, from like a journalism standpoint, you know, you're either first or you're not. No. Those people out there that know me know why I'm saying no. It's just, and that's kind of, I asked our SID, we were supposed to have a big social media thing within our athletic department, and I said, why am I on this list? I mean, I know I do a little bit, but I don't do enough. And he said, I think it's because you do all the NASCAR stuff. And I was like, really? So if anybody who knows me out there, that's all I do is the NASCAR stuff. So I'm kind of like Matt follows his racing stuff. I do the racing stuff. So I've seen some stuff. That's where I got sort of an idea for Snapchat, as NASCAR was pushing the envelope with that. They're doing a lot of different things digital wise, and I don't pay attention to Major League Baseball, the NFL, or any of those, so I couldn't tell you what they're doing to push the envelope. But I think we're talking about Periscope and Meerkat, and what's the next frontier of things to do, because if you can get there first and you can kind of be out there. I mean, we got to be looking at what kind of creepy, but what 16 to 18-year-old guys are doing. So that's why we kind of jumped into Snapchat, because I think high school kids use it a lot, and it's weird that you got to think of. I think that helps us.
And I think going back to the goals, obviously a much smaller fan base for us, but at the end of the day, free publicity is free publicity, regardless of what format it's on. And if it doesn't cost us anything to post a cool graphic on Twitter or Instagram that some kid is going to like, and he might commit to us later down the road, or a fan might like, and he might show up to a game. At the end of the day, it's to get the kids to come to the school, it's to get the people in the stands. And, you can't be free.
How about this question? Because I know we have another question. Take it out. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, interesting things we've done before is giveaways. We've got some grassroots video apps. So little tweet. I opened up the server one time and tweeted the inside picture. The first guy to guess what that server was that I had. And you'd be surprised, I had 125 guesses.
Was it from people in this room?
But just surprisingly, the weirder you can tweet out stuff like that, the more people will follow you.
I've done it. Yeah, I've done a ticket giveaway also. I had nobody using my tickets that weekend. I had 2 people using them, just 2 people I knew. I had 2 extra tickets. And I thought, well, I'm going to do a tell me who you take to the game and why. And did it that way.
140 characters or less.
Yeah. Well, you got to get creative.
Right.
And so gave away 2 tickets. And so I've always tried to look for the opportunity. My wife tries to talk me out of it because we're paying taxes on the tickets.
How do you do those ticket giveaways? Like, are they the university provided tickets?
So for me, it's my personal, it's the tickets that the university has comped me, but I am paying taxes on. So I am, let's see, how does this work? So I am paying the tax, and I checked with compliance on it before I did it.
That was my question, because we were going to do a giveaway for like 5,000 followers, but we just didn't because we weren't sure what the rules are. Because what if the kid's like a PSA or and so
yeah, that's the one
rare.
thing you just kind of got to watch, and you can easily weed that out when you're going through, when you go back and check who the answers are from.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Because we have this issue, and I think a couple people in here have too. I know we're dealing with it right now. Graphics and/or video that people will just yank from you, even with your watermark on it. That's one of the things that we have an issue with.
I think we're getting in.
Are we going to do that next Wednesday? Sorry, I jumped again.
I
Is that right?
think so. We're gonna have an intellectual properties discussion on Wednesday.
I don't know.
We're having an intellectual properties lawyer
We're
come
just
in
gonna
and
have to
talk to
hold off on
us
that one.
about that whole thing.
But we have that problem, so Carl started putting like our Twitter account in the picture, just so if somebody, because he hates it when people see our stuff and try to pass it off as their own, because there are people out there that will do that. They'll just right click, say that it's on the picture, and then they'll put it up, and they'll end up getting more retweets and favorites and likes than we do. And it's like, well, that's backwards.
George?
In that respect, are you using footage that you shoot internally, or are you possibly even using, truck copies or whatever, if you are
Yes.
trying to protect? So
We're doing both, but we have it with graphics too.
what would you credit,
Credit ESPN.
Credit ESPN, yeah. I think we do that a lot. I don't know. I might not have it on there. I probably broke a copyright law, so if I get arrested now, this we're on Google.
Well, that'll jump through the Google Hangout on Thursday and get you.
Sweet.
I've noticed a lot of NFL teams will put their handle in like the oddest place.
That's what he does.
Yes, just so you can't.
Mhm.
You put it in the spot so you can't drop it out. You don't put it in the corner.
yeah.
Which is where it should, like, right, we can find a way to make it really good stuff.
Yeah, because we've got a student group on campus that love them or hate them, they put stuff out, which is fine. But they just start ripping the images that you would put up, and they put them out they wouldn't say, hey, we got this from the football tour. They would put it up, and they were getting more interaction, and it was like, this isn't the way it's supposed to be, at least for me. I don't know if anybody else would feel that way, but I don't know if anybody else is having that issue, so in terms of people ripping your stuff, and then it's kind of like, well, why would I do the work if somebody's going to take it?
We've got about 15 minutes left in our panel here. There might be a bunch of other questions. One thing I did want to ask, is there any social media avenue that we haven't touched on that you want to hear about?
Does anybody use Google Plus? No? Okay. I do personally, but it's utterly useless. It's utterly useless. Well, I think.
Except for live streaming like we are right now.
I'm sorry. I love Google Plus. It's the greatest thing. I don't personally, if I can give an opinion here, I don't see the use of Periscope, because once it's like you just did that, you're done with the Periscope stream.
Yep.
Nobody else can go back and see that now.
And for 24 hours, they can.
Oh, they can?
Yeah.
Well, I obviously don't know what I'm talking about.
Now, an interesting conversation, because Tony's in the room, and Tony and I have gone back and forth. Tony from the Big Ten office, we've gone back and forth a couple times as far as with things like Meerkat, with things like Periscope, the ability to control that. I know that there was a lot, when MLB season came around, the folks with MLB quickly shut down many live streams of Periscope in the stadium.
Well, that's how a lot of people watch the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, right?
Right. Well, a lot of the illegal streams got shut down the same way. But there's a lot of back and forth as far as how far do conferences or stadiums want to go as far as how much enforcement are you going to put toward the live streaming, trying to shut down live streaming.
If you guys ever use Vine or anything like that, or
Vine.
in charge of it.
Vine, we haven't, because it's kind of phased out now a little bit, because you can shoot videos natively in Twitter now. You can shoot up to 30 seconds. So now you can go 24 more seconds and you get with Vine. So that's, at least from our vantage point, I forgot about Vine.
And you can do Instagram videos too.
Yeah.
And
we,
so
we don't do
between the two-
Instagram, so I'm obviously ignorant.
I think the best thing that I've seen with Vine is that you can have a ghost image, so you can have the same thing with something changing. Whereas if you're doing it with Instagram or Twitter video, you have to be really careful about your locations of something. Like if you have two helmets and then you pause it and you want to switch one of the helmets.
I don't think you can pause the video, at least in Twitter. You can.
I think he's saying,
I'm sorry.
Like start a new, like.
I don't even know why I'm up here now.
That's the one nice thing with Vine.
Now I just
It allows
don't
you to position things really well.
A lot of people do like stop action stuff today. It looks really cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes, the stop action, because you can have a real image of the previous frame. So you can
Okay.
make sure that you're in the same
Okay.
position.
We also pre-produce motivational clips to buy, so like we'll tease our motivational video, and it's easier to upload a pre-produced video
To mine than it is for.
Twitter and everything else.
Sorry, I didn't know that line. That's it. I'm an idiot when it comes to mine. Right? You guys do mine? No.
I have a question, just more for the room, it's people who are running accounts, who's your audience? And I think that's one of the things that we always run into is your audience recruits, 16 to 18-year-olds, or is your audience fans?
That's the problem I have with our social media because I tell her fans want to see the insides. Like they want to know what Christian happened about the people before they go. So I send a picture.
That's weird.
Fans want to know.
I know, yeah.
They want to know what's in the buffet line at the hotel. The fans will love it. You got 107,000 fans that love that kind of stuff. But then you have the 14, 16-year-olds.
Did you tell them it's the same thing every week? Chicken, salads, ice cream bar.
That's what they see from demographics. You know how you word it, like the wording of the picture, or the wording of something is key. We're trying to sell the recruits, and that's all we care about.
We've got a theory that, well, I didn't create it, Carl did. So, yeah, Carl's like a genius when it comes to this, but we've got, because we have that like athletics account, kind of like you guys have your Go for Sports, and then you've got Go for Football.
Yeah.
And then, well, so we've got Go Bearcats, and then we've got Bearcats Football, and then we've got recruiting. And it's kind of like a solar system or Venn diagram kind of thing, where your marketing, PR people can do your general athletics. The football kind of straddles the line between recruiting and fans. So yeah, some for the 16, 18-year-old kids, some for the fans in the stands. But then the recruiting account is pretty much specifically for your recruits. So that's the way we see it. I don't know if anybody else thinks that's either crazy or on point.
Yeah, that's kind of how Nebraska's got it set up. Huskers is a blend of all sports and football. There's a football only that's run by a subdivision of social media. That's the recruiting office, and then Nebraska Video is the thing. For us, we got our SID runs the football one, and that's mainly fans based, and that's run out of our basketball arena. As far as anything in our office, they don't really care about fans. They want recruits or recruits. So for us, I can tell them they have 5,000 fans in the recruiting department. Okay, well, how many of the 120 kids that are looking at recruiting are following? Because that's what they care about. So for us, I guess it depends on each your department and what you're looking at, what your department wants. For us, it's recruiting. For others, it may be both or just.
For us, we always try and keep it about 60-40 fans to recruits. The reason being is that the recruits are always going to get that extra stuff, those mailers, every week, every other week. We're going to show them a little bit of a different love than we would the recruits, than the fans. So from our social media accounts, we try and do more fan-based graphics, tweets, and then we know that the recruits are always going to get loved up from us, whether it's on social media or in the mailing, something like that.
I think depending on what your area is, depends on what your target is. Jevin, I think you have a solid fan base. So your target might be the 16 to 18, where, Dory, your fan base, you might be aiming for your fan base as opposed to the 16 to 18-year-old, because the fan base might not be as solid as Jevin's.
Oh, they're not solid at all.
Well, exactly.
Just make sure you get your Mahalo rewards card before you show up.
What other questions you guys have that we might be able to answer, try to come up with an answer for?
A couple people talk about issues with talking, whether it's marketing, SID, some compliance, or we're checking something, or running through somebody. you have multiple voices on an account. You know, has anyone been really successful at navigating that at a department level? I mean, where you said you were going to have a meeting, the meeting fell through. I had one of those too. We were going to have a meeting, then the meeting never happened.
Right, we had a girl who was supposed to run it, and just apparently they were going to do it over spring break or something, and they just didn't do it. It would have been great because they're trying to unify everything as an athletic department.
Ours is the same, and I know, like you said, some of you have said, butt heads with an SID because you're stupid. You know, and you know, not intentionally, but you're working on the same things because, hey, the NFL draft is coming.
Yeah.
It's a thing, you know.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely important to keep those lines of communication open. So you're not doing the double work with them. And then also, like, there's sometimes there's rules that we don't necessarily know about, that the SIDs know about. For instance, we can't post any highlights on the game day until after 11 p.m. for different contractual reasons with the network and ESPN and whatnot. So if I go out and I put together a highlight, we played at noon, I put it out, I put it out at 5, then I'm gonna get in trouble because I didn't know the rule of the thing. So if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, make sure you're definitely in contact with them, because I'm sure they're gonna get in trouble also. So you protect them and protect yourself.
So our marketing director threatened my job for posting a logo on our camp flyer. At that point, we decided we're going to do it. So we definitely butted it, and we dealt with it in a way that we're just going to do our own thing. Head coach back in 100%. So at the end of the day, I report to him. Whatever he wants, he gets. And that's kind of the way we handle that situation. But, you know, at the end of the day, you've got to work with people. You need to have a good working relationship with those people.
Say campfire.
Yeah.
Kind of have a question along those lines about dealing with SID graphics. We have a volunteer who works with recruiting in my office because I'm one that's Photoshop. She didn't alter our logo, but instead what she did was like for our recruiting, she put the rebel head against the US so to show where our recruits are from. Our marketing department got upset about that because it didn't represent they said it didn't represent our university. The way that they wanted it represented because we altered the logo. Do y'all ever have to like alter logos like that and then butt heads with them? Are they strict with you guys do? How do you guys do it?
For me, we have a font that they don't want us to use for only certain things, which I don't really care what they think, because ultimately, like Joe said, I report to the coach. So as much as I can, I try to comply with them. But if the head coach wants that particular graphic done, then sorry, marketing, we're going to have to.
Yeah. The way that we got around that was we said that we might use it as an alternate logo on the helmet. So we posted it as a, hey, what do you think about this for, you know, Army Day?
I guess I would say you try to work with them as much as you can, but if you got to choose sides, then obviously you're going to choose the one that you. They end up Do you have a question?
Kevin, I was just gonna ask, the obviously y'all love doing our jobs, but do you guys enjoy doing social media part?
So I get I don't know, the part that I enjoy is watching a kid come in on his official visit and retweet all the things that we do. That's kind of cool. That's fun. And then the kid commits to it, or chooses Miami. They like it on the
For me, I like the Spartan video account. That's cool. The professor, Coach Antonio's, I don't do anything on my own. I have to go through him. He tells me what he wants, and I'm going to go that way. So I wouldn't say it's terrible, but if I didn't have to do it, I'd be okay with that.
On game day, when we do it,
So do I feel. on game day when we do like 95% of our stuff, I'm more worried about obviously like you guys getting the coaches stuff. So Carl will do 95% of it anyway, so I don't have to worry about it. But that's why I kind of gave it in too, because I don't want to do that during game day because we've got more important stuff to do. So that's why like you guys have in person, so that's pretty easy. But for us, I'll take pictures before the game and tweet them. That's fine. And sometimes, like, we've got a staff of students, and like everybody else does, and we told them, Brandon Phillips plays for the Reds, and he was at one of our games, and we're up shooting, and I'm up editing, and we said, walk over and get a picture of him and send it to us so we can tweet it. And our kids don't know any better. So as long as you've got students that may be able to help you with that, I think that's certainly helpful when it comes to the social media aspect of it. We don't put that much stuff up from our UC video account, but it's there. And if we had one of our students who was going to know about it, I'd probably let them maybe do a little bit, but not a lot, because I don't trust them that much yet.
From the Gopher football video, I don't mind doing it. It's not something that consumes me. I try it. The things that I worry about a little bit is trying to be interactive with the CSVA account and trying to engage you all a little bit more and trying to provide content that is beneficial to you all, whether it be through the Twitter account or Instagram or the Google Hangouts that we have. I really don't mind doing the Google Hangouts. I kind of look forward to getting together with different people and getting ideas out there. I think this year has been probably one of the most educational years that I've had because of the Google Hangouts that we've had. We've had the Cradle idea that came out of Alabama was great. You put the SIM card from your wireless hotspot in Cradle, you're part of our internet. It's a one-time cost of around $1,000, and that's what your internet cost could be for your hotel for one boat trip, and you've got it. It's paid off in one trip. You've got it for 5 or 6 years. It's a smart move. It's things like that I picked up. Here in Campo, talk about how you retain students. Priceless. Middle of the season, you're struggling. You got a student that quits. You got to find another student. And Campo is telling you how to help, trying to help you find another student, trying to help tell you how to find another student. Even just a little bit ago, found one at a gas station. Why not? Or a convenience store. Why not? So it's things like that. It's the tips and tricks. It's the how-to that I think is fun. I'd love to have more people involved. So I think the content portion is the one thing that I struggle with, is trying to provide you with more content.
I think it's tough. You don't want to stretch yourself too thin now, because how many accounts you have in your phone? Like 8, 5? We'll say 8. But in terms of, you don't want to put out too much or too, I think we talked about that like an hour ago, but you don't want to, I don't want to spend all day walking around with my phone taking pictures of things, because at some point we've got to go into edit practice or, there's a game going. So you got to kind of prioritize it. And that's what's really tough for me in terms of, because I really want to put stuff up, but at the same time, we've got a job to do. So.
All right, guys. Hopefully, you guys found this beneficial. It is 45.
It's time to go tweet about the game.
It's time to go tweet about the game. At between 6 and 6:15. This is from Chris. Matt, you can shut it down.